unquote, is funny because it's a whole idea that you're being accepted by white society for your non-African features. And the fact that she would be celebrating that, whether or not she is a colorist, is moot. I really think that the bigger picture is, and the bigger story is that, the story of a woman who has all the social graces of being white and come from upper or middle class whites, but yet is subjected to the tragedies of being black. We shouldn't be celebrating that. We shouldn't be celebrating that. So hopefully she does change the name, because, are we just running out of creative things to call ourselves? All of the doll names were taken, Asian, Cash, whatever, like all the dolls are taken. And so now you have to call yourself half-breed to be accepted. I don't know. I don't like it. I like her. I don't like it. Last but not least, so in a more desperate plea to show us how much she does not care about how broke you niggas are, Cardi B and Offset once again overshared their wealth with us. Now, I'm happy for them, and it doesn't bother me to see her give her husband a Lamborghini Aventador, because number one, I believe they work hard, and I'm sure they deserve it. And I believe that abundance is not limited to just them. I believe that if you are aligned both spiritually and mentally, and you are aligned with both man next to you, God above you, nothing beneath you but the earth, and really just aligning yourself that all three need to be taken care of by you, I think abundance is there. Manifestation is there. Visualization is there. Whatever you want is there for the keeping, and it's there for the getting, and it's there for the asking. I do believe that the universe will rise up and meet us at the point of our need. However, honey, I do think that it is, on one level, I can see how people think that it's irresponsible to be displaying that kind of gratuitous wealth in a time where America has given people at most $2,000 to survive on for the greater half of the year, and most people are suffering. I don't know, maybe y'all could do that in private. That's my whole thing. Like, why do y'all have to, I'm okay with you sharing, but why do you feel the need to share? Like, whose spirits are you trying to raise with that? Like, I don't know. I get it. I get it on both fronts. I get how people could be, who could be annoyed by her lack of temperature check. But there's some things to consider. Now, number one, the Lamborghini Aventador is a upwards of and basic model. First of all, it's rare because it's said to only have 900 units and have been made in the world. So there is the rarity of it. Then there is the idea that it is well over $500,000. And that does not include taxes, any upgrades, or destination fees, right? And we have to also consider the fact that it's not, okay, how do I say this? It's not one of the most expensive, the most expensive model Lamborghini. It is considered to be one of the better models, ranking, I would say, within the top 10 of Lamborghini styles, but the Huracan Evo and the, I guess the 2020 Aventador S is still said to be a really great style, but she gave him the SVJ, which is only the fifth most expensive Lamborghini. So if you were paying attention, that's what it boils down to. All right, who gives a fuck, honestly? You know what? We are here. We love each other, and abundance is here for us. And I actually think that the car looks better as a toy than it does a real car. But I can only say that because I've never been in one. I'm sure she'd rather cry in that than walk to a Honda. Let's take a quick break, and we'll be right back. And we are back. So this week, as we enter into seemingly the last 2 weeks of the calendar year, I wanted to really touch on and set the table for kind of a quick understanding of what my life has been like this year. So I prayed for a lot of things, and some of them I even manifested. Like I did it, I wanted a new job. I visualized it. I manifested it. I prayed about it. I prayed over it. And then I just let God do what he needed to do, what he wanted to do, what was going to be done. Same thing for a place, same thing for the person that I love. But I also prayed for some things and I didn't get them. And a lot of times when you are in dire need and you pray and hope and try to manifest something and it doesn't work out for you, it feels like God's rejection. It feels like God has turned his back on you. It feels like, how could he? How could he not supply my needs? I'm righteous. I do good. What's the problem? Oftentimes it's easy for us to interpret God's rejection or God's lack of giving as his rejection. And the thing to note is that oftentimes his rejection is his protection. See, in most situations, when you are walking through the fire, you cannot foresee why the situation was necessary. You can't foresee why it was necessary for this person to walk out of your life. You cannot foresee why this job leaving or why this thing not working out. Or why is there this delay in this thing? Why is it not working out? Why has this person just walked out of my life? Why can't I seem to get this situation together? You can't seem to really acquiesce. What's the good in this? How is this supposed to benefit me? What am I supposed to learn from this? Because it just feels like God's rejection. It definitely doesn't feel like protection. It feels like hurt. It feels like you are out there and nobody has your back. But one of the things I've realized is God's rejection has always set me up from going to glory to glory. And what I mean by that is when I all but thought that I had a new job, and I triumphantly quit my last job. And then things fell apart and I seemingly was unemployed. It had dawned on me that, why would God be taking me through this? What is it that I'm supposed to get from? What is this loss supposed to teach me? Am I supposed to learn not to quit my job? Am I supposed to learn to be more grateful for things even when they don't seem to be curated in the way that I would like them to be? Should I be more thankful for this place that doesn't pay me enough to make ends meet? I couldn't figure it out. But it wasn't until the season had passed and I got into a thankful and appreciative mode of the place that I am in now that I realized that God's rejection in that moment, me going on countless interviews, not getting those other jobs, God's rejection in that moment was his protection for today. Do you trust him? Do you believe that things will work out for your good? Do you believe that anything that you've lost is something that you needed to get to your final destination? I'm a firm believer in the fact that everything that is necessary for me up until this point in my life, everything that I have is all that I need to be who I am today. Because if it were not so, wouldn't God change it? If it were not so, wouldn't he make my crooked ways straight? See, that's the thing. I believe in the fact that there's nothing too hard and or impossible for God. There is not a box that he can't get me out of. There's not a window that he can't open. There is not a door that he can't go through. There's nothing that is impossible to my God. So if I am not being given those open doors, I'm never thinking about what I've lost. I'm always thinking about what does he have for me ahead? Because if this thing that I think is so great is not what he has for me, I know he has something better for me. I know it. I live in that space. I live in that vulnerability. I live in that faith. And I believe that the universe will always rise up to meet me there. See, nothing that has been lost onto you is something that you need to be the person that you are, or to be the person that you're going to become. So that person that walked out of your life, I know it hurts. I know it hurts. This person that is hurting you, this person that has seemingly turned their back on you, this person that should get you but doesn't. Now, I don't know who needs to hear that, but this thing that you think is so necessary, so vital to your being, is it? Is it? You have everything you need today to be the person that you're supposed to be. And I believe that if there is anything that has been lost onto you, anything in the world, it doesn't matter what it is, who it is, why it is, I believe that there is something better coming down the pike. But it's not enough for me to just believe it. It's not enough. See, you have to believe it. You have to believe that your days that are coming are going to be greater than your latter days. You have to believe that the person that has walked out of your life is making room for ultimately the people that should be in your life. You have to believe that. You have to believe that this thing that seemingly seems to be ghosting you is not a necessary component for you to be happy, for you to exist in the here and now that provides. The only way to achieve happiness is to be mindful in the here and now, to live in the space of today, of the present. Remember, his rejection could be your protection. Take